Hey friend, it's Brandon Gustafson with Assisted Living Investing. Excited to have you here with me. Assisted Living Investing, I help beginners like you launch their assisted living business in the next 12 months. In today's video, we're going to be getting into NPIs, what they are, do you need them for assisted living, how is it going to impact your business, help you get a really solid understanding of exactly what an NPI is. We're going to talk about that here in today's video. If you're new here, then make sure you comment, just type in newbie down below. Would love to see who's new. And if you are interested in learning more about NPIs and you're excited about this, type in NPI down below because that's what we are going to be getting into today. So as I get this thing ready to go and put on the Facebook page, let's see here. This is never easy to get this stuff in here. Anyways, I want to remind you to get over to the website assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist to get your free business plan checklist. You can get that. We'll have a ticker going down below as well, but you can go and grab that free resource there. And yeah, let's get started. So, what is NPIs for assisted living? Go grab that business plan checklist. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Brandon. I own 2 assisted living facilities and operate them out of state. So I've done this since 2020. I live in Utah, have one in Colorado, one in Idaho. I've secured over $1.5 million in SBA funding. I operate out of state. I have a master's in healthcare administration, have worked in the healthcare industry for over a decade, have a lot of experience here. So that's kind of who I am and why I can teach you some of this stuff. If you have questions or comments or things like that as we go through this, make sure you comment those down below as well. We're going to have some time for Q&As. So I'll pull that up, and if there's anything that comes up, then please let me know. We'll have some time there. It could be NPI related or it could be something completely different, whatever it is that you are needing help with right now. All right, let's excuse me. Let's get into what an NPI is. So NPIs, they stand for National Provider Identifier. It's a 10-digit number. They typically start with 1, but other than that, it's just 10 digits, and they kind of go out there. There's a few different types of NPIs. I think there's like 6 different types. There's providers and facilities, and there's just a bunch of different things. But basically, they are a unique identifier for healthcare providers. It's an ID that you have. It's not like let's see. It's kind of like a tax ID in that it's unique to you, unique to a specific type of person, but it is it's for healthcare specifically. And I won't get too deep into this, but each provider would have an NPI, and then you have group NPIs. And when you get into like facilities and hospitals and things like that, it can be very confusing. There's a lot that goes into NPIs, but it comes from the HIPAA law, the Healthcare Information Portability. I can't remember exactly what HIPAA stands for. But basically, it allows you to protect your healthcare information, and the way they do that is through these NPIs that allow you to interact more directly with a provider. That's what the purpose of an NPI is. So an NPI, really at its core, is used for healthcare transactions. Billing is what you use it for. If you ever go to a hospital, let's say that you have gone to go see your primary care physician, and you go there and you get the explanation of benefits, the EOB at the end. If you look at it, they will often have the NPI on there. This isn't like something that you have to keep secret or anything like that. It's something that people need to know. But when you're a provider and you bill to a clearinghouse who's going to validate everything and then send it on to a payer to get reimbursed for, they will look at that NPI and they'll just validate that it really is a real provider, that it's associated with a specific group. I work for health insurance companies. I've done this for a lot of my professional career, not like on the claims side and on the contracting side of things. So I'm very familiar with this. When we accept payments, when we accept billing from a provider, we have to validate all that information. We have processes in place that we do that with as an insurance company, and then we will process those payments and we send it out, and we use that NPI as a big key for how we are processing those payments to make sure things are getting out to people on time. So that's how an NPI is used. It's used for those healthcare billing transactions. It's a way for billers and payers to just be able to talk to each other and understand exactly what that looks like. So here's the big question: who needs an NPI? Really, healthcare providers who are transmitting health information in electronic forms in connection with a transaction. Now, that's a little vague, but what it basically means is when you go see your primary care physician, you're going to get a diagnosis. And that diagnosis could be any number of things. Let's say you have strep throat. So they give a diagnosis for strep throat. They also put in a procedure code for what procedure they did. We did an office visit, and then we did a diagnosis, and then we prescribed them some kind of medicine for their strep throat. So they will send all of that information. There's different codes and things that they have to put together. This is from a billing perspective, and you put that in there and you send it off to the clearinghouse, who looks at it, says, "Yep, everything, all the information is here." We're going to pass that along to a payer, who will then adjudicate those claims, and then they will pay out to the provider based off of the information that they have been provided with. That's kind of at its core how this works. You have a code, you bill those services, you send it off, and then you get paid, and that all comes back to an NPI. That's why providers, they need this. When you're transmitting that health information, including the information about you as a patient. So this is going to have your name, your address, phone number, contact info, all the things about you. It's going to have that in there. Plus, it's going your ID number with the insurance provider. It's going to have the information about the visit that you had. It's going to have the diagnosis. It's going to have all that information here in a string of data. It's all on one line, and then it goes out to the payer. They look at it, they process the claim, and they say, "Yep, we will reimburse X amount of money. We'll pay that out to the provider for the services that were rendered." So that's at its core kind of how that works. It's a little bit vague. Hopefully that that makes sense. But that's who needs an NPI and why they need that NPI. So how do you excuse me, how do you get an NPI? You go through the NPPES website, which is a CMS website, which is Medicare, Medicaid services. That's who CMS is. It's the federal regulation. Sorry, my nose is really itching, and I'm trying not to sneeze, and that's why I keep rubbing my nose. So I apologize. You go onto that website. You create an account. Free to set this up. You go in, you just create an account, go and add your email, create a password. Very simple. Fill out the application. You just say, "I'm a new provider. I need to get this all filled out." It's a pretty simple application. It's not going to take you that long. It's very intuitive, but you just fill out that application and then you hit submit, and then you wait. They will tell you. I think there's an automated thing that says, this could take up to like 10 business days or something like that. They give themselves a really good chunk of time. My experience with getting an NPI is they usually, like, I've had it happen within like 2 hours of submitting. I've also had it take like 2 or 3 days. Very rarely have I had an experience where it takes longer than that. And I actually have a decent amount of experience doing this because it was something that I used to do professionally. Was help people setting up NPIs. So it can take a while, but generally it's going to go pretty quick. You can also do this by mail. If you go on that NPPS website, they will have forms that you can print off, fill out, and then send it in by mail. If you don't want to do it on the internet, or you can't for whatever reason, you can do that by mail. That's an option that they give. I don't know how much longer they'll do that, but it is an option as of the recording of this video. Now, here's the question. This is why you're here. This is why you wanted to watch this video. Do you need an NPI in assisted living? I would say not necessarily. And the reason why is because your services are oftentimes private pay, or you could be dealing with Medicaid. You are not going through a typical process that you would, like that primary care physician, when you go in and they have that string of data and you send it up to the clearinghouse and you get reimbursed by the payer. That whole example, you're not necessarily doing that. Now, if you're in a nursing home, that's a different story. But in assisted living, it's not. You're not dealing with Medicare. you are dealing only with Medicaid, and they have their own different process. They actually will give you your own Medicaid ID. That's what you use to bill. And sometimes they even call it an NPI. It's not, but sometimes they will call it an NPI, which is weird. But anyways, um, they will give you that Medicaid ID, and that's what you're going to use to bill rather than an NPI. Private pay does not require an NPI because you're just collecting directly from that person. There's no electronic transfer of healthcare records there. And when you do that with Medicaid, you do it inside of their own portal, and so they don't necessarily need that NPI. So do you need one? No, not necessarily. I will say though, should you get one as an assisted living provider, it is not hard to get one. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's not going to hurt you to have one. When you're filling out your applications to become an assisted living provider, to get your facility license, they will ask for an NPI, but it is an optional field. Oftentimes they will even say that it's optional. So it's not something that you have to do. One of my facilities, we have an NPI for. The other one does not. I have never had to use the NPI. It's always something they will ask for. At our facility where we don't have the NPI, I just tell them I don't have one, and they say, okay, sounds good. Like that is the interactions that I have. Or they will tell me, put in your Medicaid ID number in that NPI field. That's what happens there. So it's not going to take you long, less than an hour to fill out the application. Then you got to wait a day or two to get the NPI, and then you have to remember it. Our facility that we have the NPI, I could not tell you what it is. I don't know if I could find where it's at because I just don't use it. So I would validate that in your state, but my experience working in multiple states is I don't need one. So I would say that's up to you if you should get one or not. However, if you live in a state where it is absolutely required, then follow the process that I just outlined for you on how to obtain your NPI. It's not hard. It's not going to take you very long. You can figure it out. Just type in, how do I get my NPI? Just do that. Get to the NPPES website with CMS and follow their instructions, and it will be, it's not bad at all. Okay, so that is NPIs. So for those of you that are live, go ahead and type in your questions. I'll make sure I get to those here in just a second, but I want to remind everybody to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell as well, so you get notified every time we put this content out. Here we go live on Tuesdays with Q&A sessions. We have our Thursday calls or Thursday long form videos as well. Have some exciting stuff coming out there. And then if you need help, make sure you go and grab that business plan checklist, the assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist. And if you need some extra support or things that you're trying to figure out how to get this off the ground, I've got a few really great options. Number one, you could apply to my mastermind program, alimastermind.com/application. Very quick application process, no obligation. Lets me see if I can help you. If I can, I'll send you all the details, and then you decide if you want to move forward or not. We can jump on a call at that point. Or you can get our accelerator course, which we are getting close to releasing an updated version of as of the recording of this in September 24. So make sure you go and grab that. We got some really exciting stuff coming out there, and super excited to pass that along to you and help you out on your investment journey, and help you make some progress. So with that said, I want to check and see if there's any questions here. I know there's a few of you that are live, so happy to answer any questions that you have, NPI or otherwise related. Just go ahead and type those in. Jacqueline, should you keep your own NPI separate from the assisted living facility? Yeah, I would. So if you are a provider, you're a nurse or something, and you have a provider NPI, I would probably keep that separate from your facility NPI. I don't think you need to have. Yeah, I would definitely do that. You could potentially associate it with it, but I don't even think you need to do that. I would just have it be completely separate. You have the NPI. You can use it if you'd like to, or if it's needed somewhere along the way. Otherwise, it's just kind of there. So that's how I would handle that. Yeah, I'd keep it separate for sure. Okay. I'm not seeing, we had a few people and everybody kind of dropped off at about the same time. So, yeah, no problem. Thanks. If you have any other questions, go ahead and type it in. I'm gonna close out the video. So, but if you have something else, let me know. Does residential assisted living sound interesting to you, but you don't know how to get started at assistedlivinginvesting.net? I'm here to help beginners like you launch their assisted living business. I love coaching people and helping people along their path and their journey to launching their assisted living business. It's something that just like brings me a lot of energy, and I really enjoy it. And if you join really quick, we are doing our Q&A session on Thursday this week, so in 2 days. So I can answer any questions that you have there. We get really deep into that. Those are typically hour and a half long sessions, and so really excited to be doing that with the group. You can apply for that at alimastermind.com/application. So yeah, and not a problem. Thanks, Jacqueline. Thanks for being here consistently. Glad to help you out how I can. So. Well, with that, thanks everybody for joining, and we will talk with you next week. And just keep making progress step by step by step. And if you do and you keep progressing, then I promise you're going to be successful. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. We'll see ya. And Jacqueline, yeah, if you join the mastermind, you'd be able to join that session, but those are just for the people in the mastermind. So, yeah, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.